Feeling your sits bones on the mat, taking a moment to arrive. And if your legs want to be outstretched, you can do that. So whatever feels comfortable for you. Getting yourself comfortable, taking a moment, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, and then letting them roll down your back. Maybe letting out a sigh as you exhale. And we'll start by closing our eyes, going inside, taking this opportunity to scan your body, to check in, to see where there's some gentleness that needs to take place as we go through our poses today. And then bringing your awareness to your breath, breathing all the way down into your stomach, filling that stomach up nice and full, letting it sink back down. And we'll start by checking in with our neck. So bringing your chin to your chest, letting the back of the neck stretch out. And then slowly bringing your nose up towards the ceiling, stretching out the front of your neck. And then we'll take a nice big circle, nice and slow, checking in, seeing if there's any tender spots that need a little extra attention. And then slowly we'll take it in the other direction. And let's come back to center. We'll bring our fingers to the mat, letting them rest onto the floor. And then just inhale, reaching those arms up nice and big and wide, bringing the palms together. And then exhale, letting them slowly come back down to the mat. Inhale, reaching up. And exhale, floating back down. And again, reaching up. This time, bringing those palms together, we'll let them settle down at our heart center, maybe closing your eyes again here. And taking a moment to set an intention for your practice today. Whatever quality you'd like to bring in, setting that now. And then we'll reach the fingertips up to the ceiling, letting those hands float back down and rest on your mat. Let's send that left arm up, getting it nice and long, reaching it up towards the ceiling. And then slowly coming over to your right, keeping that left sits bone resting down. Taking a few moments to breathe into that side body. And then letting your left arm float back down to the mat. We'll do the other side. Let's reach the right arm up. Reaching it up nice and long as if somebody's pulling your fingertips up, and then slowly over to your left. Taking a few breaths into that side. And then we'll let that right arm float back down to the mat. We're going to take our arms up and just bending at the elbows, bringing your hands onto your shoulders. We're going to exhale, bringing those elbows together, rounding your back. And then inhale, expanding. Here's my kitty today. And exhale. And inhale. Animals love when we do yoga. They can feel the calmness coming over us. And then taking your arms back out, stretching those fingers out. We're going to make some small circles. So arms are nice and long, and making those circles a little bit bigger. Being gentle if you have any shoulder issues, listening to your body, and only doing what feels right for you. When you have nice big circles, we're going to take it in the other direction, starting nice and big, and eventually getting those circles to be small. Beautiful. And then shaking those arms out. And let's come on to our hands and knees. We'll get our spine moving today. So wrists are under the shoulders, knees under the hips. We'll start by doing some cat-cow. So as you exhale, rounding your back up to the ceiling. And then as you inhale, letting your belly sink down, head and tailbone up. Moving back and forth with your breath. And see if you can slow down your movements, slowing down your breath. Beautiful. Coming back to a neutral spine. Let's take the right leg and send it out. So our heels pushing out, toes are pointing down. And then we'll just take that heel and leg up and down, keeping your hips parallel to the floor. Keeping that breath flowing. And then we're going to bend the knee so our foot is flat to the ceiling. Let's pump that heel and foot up, getting those glutes working for us, strengthening our lower back. And then from here, let's take that knee and bring it over to our right shoulder. We're going to make a nice big circle, moving those hips, loosening them up, and then maybe taking it in the other direction. And then bringing your knee back down. Let's come into a resting pose, into child's pose. So you might want to bring your knees a little further apart, getting your hips to your heels, and either resting your forehead onto your stacked fists or all the way down to the mat. Breathing all the way up that back body. As you exhale, just sinking a little deeper. Then we'll come back up. We'll get ready to do the other side. So bring your knees back underneath your hips, wrists under shoulders, stretching that left leg out, heel pushing out, toes pointing down, and then lifting that leg up and down, keeping your core engaged here. So drawing that navel in towards your spine. And then we'll bend the knee, foot flat to the ceiling, and then pumping that foot up and down, noticing how this side feels. And then from here, let's send that left knee to our left shoulder, making a nice big circle with our hip. And then we'll take it in the other direction, noticing how this side feels. And then bringing your knee back down. We'll just take the hips from side to side. And then we're going to bring the right foot forward, wiggling it up, sinking into your hips, coming into our low lunge here. Setting your hands up just behind that right heel. We're going to stretch out the hamstrings today. So as you stretch that leg, straighten that leg, you're going to bring your nose towards your knee. And then you're going to inhale, bending back into that right knee. And then sending that leg straight, nose to knee, and bending back into it. So just moving back and forth. And the next time you stretch out that right leg, just holding here. And then bending back into the knee. Let's do the other side. We'll take that left leg forward, sinking into our low lunge on this side. Hands are just behind your heel. Taking a breath or two here. And then as you exhale, straightening out that left leg, nose to knee. Inhale, coming back into that bend. Moving back and forth with your breath. And the next time you stretch that leg out, just holding here. And then bending back into that knee. Let's bring the left foot back. Coming into a downward facing dog, we're going to curl the toes under and lifting up those hips. Let's walk one heel out at a time. Taking your time here, stretching out each of those legs. And then bringing both heels towards the mat, hips rising up towards the ceiling, head in between your arms. Taking a couple of breaths here. And we'll walk or hop, if you're feeling energetic, up to the top of the mat, folding a little bit deeper over those hips. And let's grab hold of the elbows and sway from side to side. Getting loose and limp like a rag doll. And then coming back to stillness, uncrossing your arms, we'll bend the knees and slowly roll ourselves up to stand. Coming into our mountain pose, standing up nice and tall. Taking a breath or two here, letting yourself settle into your feet. And then from here, let's inhale, reach the arms up, bringing the palms together and back to our heart center. We'll do two more like that. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, sinking down. Once more, reaching up. This time, as we come down, we're going to fold over the hips, coming back into our forward fold, head relaxing. Let's take the right leg and stretch it out, bringing that knee down to the mat, sinking into our low lunge again. And maybe planting that right hand, we'll lift the left arm up to the ceiling. Breathing here. And then placing your left hand on your knee, let's bring the right hand up to meet it, sinking in a little bit deeper into our hips. And then reaching the arms all the way up to the ceiling, looking up at glorious day. Then we'll bring the palms together. Let's bring them down to our heart center. We're going to do a little twist here. So taking the right elbow to the left knee, left elbow up towards the ceiling, pushing into the palms. So you're creating a nice space in the back body. Breathing all the way down into your belly. And then we'll bring the hands back to our heart center. Let's place them down onto the floor. We're going to curl the back toe and lift that knee. And then bring the left foot back to meet it, coming into a plank pose. Now, if this is not accessible today, you can always bring your knees down towards the mat. And we'll just take a few moments breathing here. Drawing that navel towards your spine. And then if your knees aren't already on the mat, let's place them there. And bend your elbows, keeping them close to your body as you lower yourself down all the way onto the mat. And let's just bring our hands underneath our forehead, taking a moment to rest here. Breathing all the way down into your belly. And then we'll place our elbows underneath the shoulders, coming into a little Sphinx pose, making sure that this feels okay for your back. Maybe looking over to the right and then back to center. And over to the left, and back to center. Dropping your chin to your chest, and then drawing a nice big circle with your nose. And then going in the other direction. Letting your elbows come up, out, and letting your forehead rest back down. We'll bring the hands under the shoulders, bringing ourselves back into our table position. We'll curl the toes and bringing ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Hips rising up, head in between the arms. And then taking another walk back up to the top of your mat. Folding over your hips. And this time let's squeeze the thighs together to protect our lower back. We'll reach the arms nice and big and wide all the way up to the ceiling and bringing them back down to our heart. Beautiful. We're going to do the other side. So inhale, reaching up. Exhale, let's fold over the hips. Taking a breath or two here. And then we'll send the left leg back, bringing that knee down to the mat, sinking back down into our low lunge. Right ankle underneath that right knee. If you can get your right knee in your armpit, even better. And then we'll plant the left hand. We'll reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Little twist here. And then placing your right hand onto your right knee, let's bring the left hand up to meet it, sinking in a little bit deeper. And then maybe bringing your arms all the way up, looking up, feeling those legs nice and strong and supporting you. And then bringing the palms together and down to your heart. We'll twist it out this side. Left elbow comes across. Right elbow up, pushing into those palms. Gazing across the fingertips. Breathing down into your belly. Beautiful. And then bringing your hands back to your heart and setting them down to the floor. Let's curl the back toe, lift that knee up. And we'll come back into our plank pose, bringing that right foot back. Nice, strong, and long body. Breathing here. And then bringing your knees to the mat and lowering yourself back down onto the floor. Keeping your hands where they are. We're going to hug those elbows towards our body. And then just coming up into a little baby cobra. And then lowering yourself back down. And once more, slinking up and lowering. And this time, let's come all the way back onto our knees, curl the toes, and back into our downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. And then walking back up to the top of your mat. Folding over your hips and squeezing those thighs. Let's reach the arms nice and big and wide. All the way up and back to your heart. Taking a moment here, close your eyes. Checking in to see how you're feeling. Feeling all that wonderful energy flowing around you. Heart beating strong. And then from here, we're going to take the right leg and bring it back so it's parallel to the back of the mat. We're going to come into warrior two here, so bending into that front knee, and then stretching your arms out nice and wide, having those arms parallel to the floor. Gazing across the left fingers, shoulders relaxing. Sending that breath all the way down into your belly. And then we'll do a little flow here. We're going to flip the palms up, straightening that front leg, reaching the arms up, and then bringing them down to our heart and sending them back out as you bend into that left knee. So reaching up, straightening the leg, exhale, coming back in. Beautiful, just flowing with your breath, getting a nice rhythm going, connecting movement and breath. This is what makes yoga. It's the union of breath and movement. And once more, let's reach up and sending those arms out. We're going to straighten that front leg. We're going to come into triangle pose. So reaching the left arm forward as if you're reaching for a cookie on the counter. And then we'll let that left elbow come down towards the left knee as the right arm comes up towards the ceiling. You can either look down towards the mat or up towards that right arm. Breathing here. Beautiful. Let's bend into that left knee and come back into warrior two. We'll bring the hands together at our heart. We're going to rotate that left foot so it's parallel to the right. And then we're going to take the right toes and bring them to the back of our mat. We'll come into our warrior two on this side. So bending into that front knee or the back knee, right knee, and then stretching the arms back out. Nice and parallel shoulders relaxing and gazing across your right fingertips this time. Breathing all the way down into your lower belly. And then from here, we'll do our little flow. Inhale, straightening that front leg, arms reaching up. Exhale, hands to the heart, and then reaching back out, bending into the knee. Moving with your breath again. Keeping a nice, fluid and steady movement and breath. And once more, let's settle back down into our warrior two. And taking a moment, letting your shoulders relax here. We're going to straighten that front leg, reaching the right arm towards the right side of your room, and then letting that right elbow come towards your right knee, left arm reaching up. Either looking towards the mat, or if your balance is okay, you can look up towards that left hand. Beautiful. Let's bend back into that right knee, coming back into warrior two, bringing the hands back into your heart. We'll rotate that right foot forward and bringing your hands onto your waist. We're going to fold forward into our hands, sinking down, getting that torso parallel to the floor, and then maybe sending your arms out nice and wide, like you're an airplane flying. And then we'll rotate that right hand to the floor, left hand to the ceiling. And then bringing your arms back parallel to the floor. We'll do the other side. Left hand to the mat, right hand to the ceiling. And then bringing your right hand down to the floor. Let's wiggle those feet back in. And just bend the knees. We'll ease our way down onto the mat. Sending your legs out in front of you. And taking a moment in staff pose. So shoulders and ears are above your hips. Letting your eyes close. Noticing where you're holding tension. See if you can soften those areas. Beautiful. Let's take the right leg and bringing it up. We're going to cross that right leg over the left. Sitting up nice and tall. Taking the left arm and wrapping it around that right knee. We'll take the right arm and bringing it behind us. Coming into a spinal twist here. Sitting up nice and tall. And just twisting from the shoulders and the upper back. Keeping your hips centered on the mat. Breathing all the way down, nice full breaths. Giving those internal organs a little massage. And then we'll slowly unwind. Let's stretch the right leg out and we'll switch sides so left leg can come up, crossing it over, sitting up nice and tall, taking your right arm and wrapping it around that left knee, left arm behind, placing it behind you, using it as a pivot point as you open your shoulders a little more. Sitting up tall, looking over that left shoulder. Taking some time here to breathe fully. Massaging your internal organs. And then we'll slowly come back around, uncrossing that leg. We're going to lay all the way down onto the mat, bending your knees, making sure your spine is nice and long. We're going to place our hands underneath our hips and then bring your knees into your chest, making sure your shoulders are relaxed, spine is long. And then we'll lift the feet up to the ceiling. We're going to do a little core work here as you bring your legs down towards the mat, drawing that navel towards your spine. And then bring the knees back into your chest, feet to the ceiling, and lowering those legs down. Knees to chest, feet to the ceiling, and back down. Keeping your breath flowing, so as your knees come in, you're exhaling, feet go up, you're inhaling, lowering them down. Exhale, knees in. Making sure that you have a nice, steady breath. And the next time that you bring your knees to your chest, we're going to switch directions. So sending those feet out and then scooping them up, bringing the knees in, sending them out, scooping them up, and knees in. So really drawing that navel towards your spine to protect your back. And then the next time you bring your knees into your chest, just leave them there. We'll take our arms and wrap them around those knees and maybe rocking from side to side. Let's keep the right knee into the chest. We're going to send that left leg out. Maybe lifting your nose up so that it's towards your knee. If your shoulders, your neck are okay, we're going to lift that left leg up and then lowering it down. Keeping your nose pointing up towards the ceiling. Keeping that breath flowing. And then bringing that left knee in. Let's rest the head for a moment. Letting your arms wrap around both knees, taking a little rest here before we get ready to do the other side. So left knee stays in, right leg goes out, and you can bring your shoulders, neck, nose up, and then just lifting that leg up and down. If you find this is too intense for your neck or your shoulders, you can always place your head back down onto the mat, keeping that breath flowing. Beautiful. Let's do one more, lifting that leg up and then bending your knee. Let's rest back down. Maybe rocking from side to side. We're going to take our arms and spread them out like wings and letting the knees float down towards the right, making any adjustments so that your knees are comfortable, so your shoulders are relaxed. And then just looking over to the left. You might even want to place your right hand onto your left leg just to bring it down a little closer to the floor. Breathing all the way down the length of your spine. Letting yourself relax here. Letting your back unlock. And then we'll bring the knees and the head back to center. Letting the knees go over to the left, head to the right. Making any adjustments on this side. Allowing yourself to settle here. And then bringing your head and your knees back to center, maybe placing a hand on each knee and taking those knees into circles. And then the other direction. Placing your feet back down onto the mat so your heels are positioned underneath your knees, hands are down by your sides. We'll come into a supported bridge pose, so pushing into your heels, lifting your hips, making sure your neck has enough room as you hold those hips up, feeling the weight in your heels. Breathing freely and easily. And then very slowly lowering yourself all the way back down to the mat. Once your hips touch the floor, just feeling that beautiful support. We'll bring both knees in for a beautiful hug, maybe rocking from side to side. And then we'll send the feet out, stretching those legs out, bringing the arms up and overhead, taking a nice big full breath in and letting out a sigh. Then letting your arms float back down towards the mat. Taking this opportunity, coming into our corpse pose to rest and digest. You can close your eyes here, focusing on your breath, breathing in to your belly. And maybe noticing cool air flowing in, warm air flowing back out. Giving your body this opportunity to rest and digest all of the postures this morning. And while you're resting here, I'd like to share a poem by Dana Faulds called Desire. Buddhists say desire is a hindrance, but I see it as an invitation. It opens doors, draws me outside my smaller self, inspires me to be creative. Desire is the proof that I'm alive. The lesson lies in whether I can value emptiness as much as being filled. If I can live with wants and let them go, if I can know that I don't know, then desire is one among the many paths of freedom. So just beginning to wiggle your fingers and your toes, beginning to make your way back up into a seated position. Getting yourself sitting comfortably. Let's bring our hands together at our heart center. We'll take a collective breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. So breathing in and out. May you all follow your desires today and enjoy this glorious day. Namaste.